You know what the number one job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is?
What?
Is to act like it didn't happen.
Are you not afraid about being blackballed?
These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything. The truth don't need motivation. I'm just saying I can't let these dudes lie. And then stole everything Mark Curry had. Remember, when Cedric the Entertainer starts, he's supposed to be singing, dancing, and telling jokes. That's why he's called the Entertainer.
Right.
We found out he can't sing, can't dance, and doesn't write jokes. He did 4 comedy specials. They're so bad, Shannon, they're not available on Netflix or Tubi. Now, Steve got a sitcom where he the principal and he wear a suit. And then he gets this high top fade, making all black men think he got the best lineup in the business. And it's a man unit. Then you ask it, why you not a movie star? I didn't want to be a movie star. This the same Negro that hated on Bernie with this same thing. No, you couldn't be a movie star. There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. My goal was to get this far in Hollywood and still have a virgin asshole. Now, who gonna turn down $50 million? Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right, because P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no.
Just 3 days into 2024, Katt Williams has given us the most jaw-dropping start ever. We all know Hollywood and the entertainment business indulge in some of the most foul activity, holding on to the darkest of secrets. Now recently, Katt Williams, one of the black community's most real but hated comedians, appeared on Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharpe. Katt told it all, highlighting the homosexual and pedophilic truths about Michael Jackson, Steve Harvey, Kanye West, P. Diddy, Rick Smiley, Cedric the Entertainer, Ludacris, and our beloved Tyler Perry. First, he went off on Cedric the Entertainer for stealing his jokes from his BET Comic View special in 1998, which happened on 2 occasions. But the reason why Katt was so upset was because these jokes were his signature jokes. At the time in 98, Katt was still up and coming, so Cedric felt that 1, nobody would know, because Katt was a local, and 2, nobody would care, and did a joke on the Kings of Comedy tour.
So this is not just a random joke. This is my very best joke, and it's my last joke, and it's my closing joke.
Okay.
1998, I'm doing this joke. It's on Comic View. Cedric comes to the Comedy Store. He watches me in the audience. He comes backstage. He tells me what a great job I did and how much he loves the joke. 2 years later, he's doing that as his last joke on the Kings of Comedy. And he's doing it verbatim. He's just changed my car into a spaceship.
Face shut up, nigga, like it's a 72. Dude, nigga, we can get this. What's up, nigga?
Katt Williams may tell you a joke, but he will never tell you a lie. Moving on to his next victim, Katt further went in on the Family Feud host, Steve Harvey, who plagiarized all the material from Mark Curry's role in the sitcom Hang with Mr. Cooper, and then later used it on the Steve Harvey Show. Williams described comedy as a consortium alliance, especially between Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, and Rick Smiley, and why they hated Bernie Mac so much because he was darker than everyone, but he was the funniest out of all of them, and they were afraid to go last. Katt talked about the irony of Steve Harvey dressing like Bernie Mac in the Comedy King special, despite hating on Bernie because he was dark-skinned and more people loved him because he was funnier. and spoke on why Steve Harvey never got over the hump and landed any movie roles.
Then you asked it, why you not a movie star? I didn't want to be a movie star. This the same Negro that hated on Bernie with this same thing. I didn't want to be a movie star. No, you couldn't be a movie star. There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them asks for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good over KB and look like Mr.
He proceeded to call Cedric a walrus who plagiarized his career and is a fraud. Shannon Sharpe jokingly accused him of having a lot on his chest, insinuating animosity, to which he simply let him know winners are not allowed to let losers rewrite history. Nowadays, Katt rarely talks about these people, only if his name is being brought up by them. Shannon Sharpe doubled down, name dropping, asking Katt, what are your relationships with Steve Harvey and Cedric the Entertainer like, as you sit here currently? And he described them as a group.
What is your relationship with Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley, and Cedric the Entertainer as you sit here currently?
For 30 years, they're a group. These aren't three random guys. The way that Ricky Smiley kept appearing at all of my auditions is because of Steven said he would tell anybody that, listen, they got a gang on that side. They know what it is.
Rick Smiley, alongside Steve Harvey, were the first people Katt called out. Smiley was a radio host personality who appeared in the sequel of Friday with Ice Cube and Chris Tucker, the Friday After Next as a Santa Claus robber. The politics between the two started over a claim that the Money Mike role in the Friday After Next, which was played by Katt Williams, was supposed to be Rick Smiley's role. The role Money Mike in the movie was a pimp and the owner of a clothing store, Pimpin' Hoes, a character that Katt Williams played to a T, from the wardrobe of dressing like a pimp to the acting. Acting was another avenue that Williams excelled in. However, the same could not be said about the rival trio. The boundary of Katt Williams' tongue spared nobody, as he went on Michael Jackson, the greatest artist of all time, and made jokes about MJ's involvement in pedophilia, bringing us back to his early 2000s special.
Meanwhile, Michael Jackson is freed in a motherfucker smelling like little boys' booty holes, and I'm supposed to be excited. I know I'm supposed to be happy because he used to be black. I remember. Fuck that. Michael forgot he was a nigga. He forgot he was a nigga. That it was us supporting him. We had that big ass, greasy ass, bell pepper ass nose. That was us. Fuck a setup. Don't nobody say the same shit about you for 20 goddamn years.
The universal love that every MJ fan has for him, whether it's for Beat It or Billie Jean, makes it really hard to accept these claims. However, MJ never really had a childhood because he was forced to sing and dance. So him being around children could have been his way of reconnecting with his inner child. These rumors about MJ have been circulating for decades, but what Katt's biggest issue was, when he was a rising star, black people supported him, but he stopped hanging around black folks or needing our support once he got validation from the white folks in the music industry. But when lawsuits would come his way, which was quite often, he would revert back to his black community, attempting to get their support, as their support is what got him there in the first place. This interview was like a bombshell. Many people felt this interview was a distraction because it ironically dropped the same day that Jeffrey Epstein's visitor list was supposed to be released, which is true. Epstein was a pedophile who took advantage of underage girls. However, the attention to exposing people like Donald Trump or Justin Trudeau or rich, famous politicians who visited this island is swayed with this viral interview with Shannon Sharpe about Black Hollywood using Katt Williams. The next victim on Katt's list was Atlanta rapper Ludacris. Known in the South for his good music, but what really made Ludacris famous was his role as Tej in Fast and Furious. The film series franchise is currently on its 10th installment, and Luda joined in 2003 onto Fast 2 Furious after being recruited by John Singleton to replace Ja Rule. Now at the time, Ja Rule was a popular rapper who starred in the first movie, Fast and Furious. 20 years later, and Tej has still been a main character, and Ludacris made tens of millions of dollars from each film. Katt described Luda taking this role as him going through the Illuminati door, changing his appearance to fit Hollywood's agenda.
Are you related to Luda?
No, so there was a crossroads where we were both invited to an Illuminati thing, and it had to be one or the other of us. One of us had to cut off all their hair and couldn't do the sideburn thing no more with the points. And the next person, they said, was going to get $200 million because they were going to pay him $10 million a movie to do 20 movies. And that's how the conversation happened. One of those persons turned out to be Ludacris, and the other person turned out to be Katt Williams. One person ended up with a light-skinned, ugly-faced wife that's never done a... Remember I told you that if I say that, it applied to 7 people?
Yes. Katt disrespectfully mentioned Ludacris' wife, and how every entertainer always obtains a trophy wife, and they all look the same. Ludacris, not happy with the remarks, responded with a freestyle to a Kanye West beat, declined the Illuminati ties, or going to P. Diddy's parties.
Whatever's heavy on my heart is always on my mind. Like Snoop's cannabis shredder, I'm always on my grind. They throwing shade cause niggas could never take my shine. I bring my watch collection on my jet, let me take my time. Like fine wine, I'm aging like Benjamin. Top 5, I'm worth mentioning. Bring me rappers, I'm lynching them. See the pendulum swing, Jesus with diamond thorns. Ludacris, swaddled in Gucci linens when I was born. Never been Illuminati, only a Ludinati. And I only left with bitches when coming from any party. Now I'm married with kids, the evolution of life. Never been a clout chaser, never say shit for likes. R.I.P. John Singleton. You never have to flex when you earn every one of your Fast and Furious checks. Afro with the sideburns. Yeah, that's my signature. Addictions on the rise. Comedians check your temperature.
Kevin Hart was the next person that Katt Williams went at relentlessly. But the irony of the situation is, this isn't the first time either of them spoke out about each other negatively. Years ago, Kevin was on The Breakfast Club and spoke about how Katt badmouthed a lot of people in the industry, so they didn't want to work with him or give him any roles, while Williams strongly felt Kevin Hart was an industry plant.
In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to L.A. and in his first year in L.A. he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definitions of these words.
Williams strongly felt that Hart's rise to success wasn't organic, and he was used as a puppet to distract the masses. Hence why in some movies he's playing feminine roles or even playfully assaulted by bigger celebrities. He criticized how Kevin grew up in Philly, but recently he had a show with Chris Rock depicting his upbringing, which was filmed in Hollywood. These allegations made Shannon Sharpe ask him the million-dollar question: are you not afraid of being blackballed again? These are some powerful people. To which he responded, Satan can't create anything that includes blessings for his people. Then he brought up Gary Owens, a funny white comedian who still hasn't fully crossed over because he's white. That's very respectable. And every script that hit Kevin Hart over a 5-year period, he said he knew about as he was also recruited for. However, his biggest problem with the industry was the step in fetching for these roles, which refers to black folks playing very stereotypical roles in movies, such as being the slaves, being the drug dealers, or even homosexual roles in our current times. Katt never, ever did any gay movies, and it's not that he had anything against homosexuals, but he felt that these companies were more focused on the dynamic of having a gay role than the entire movie. The P. Diddy allegations have had Diddy in a chokehold for the last 2 months of 2023. After Cassie, his former lover, filed a lawsuit for $30 million, and it was settled 24 hours later, it's almost like the Me Too movement got a spark. More women filed lawsuits against Diddy, as well as Jamie Foxx and L.A. Reid. 50 Cent, while on a sold-out tour, an anniversary of Get Rich or Die Trying halfway around the world, would poke jokes about the situation on Instagram involving Diddy and him being a fruit pop, offering to take him shopping, and his very weird fruity remarks that he would say to other people. And the Outer Revolt, which is a brand that Diddy owns, and their sponsors such as Cadillac and AT&T. So more women would sue him because he had very lucrative partnerships, which means that he has a lot of money. Earlier this year, 50 Cent would make jokes about Diddy being homosexual and the weird stuff that go on at these homosexual parties and the patty king activities that he could only imagine because he's never been. Now, Katt Williams, on the other hand, gave his take on the situation and how he turned down $50 million partying or not partying with P. Diddy.
People say that. He lost $50 million. No, that's not even close to what happened to this dude. And until you understand what happened to the dude, you don't understand what happened. Like, no, not they offered him $50 million and he turned it down. Who gonna turn down $50 million? Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did.